Before this video starts, I would love to give a huge disclaimer. No hate towards anybody who is possibly mentioned in this video, whether it be somebody that is being harmful or is saying random stuff. Do not go out of your way to go and harass somebody if you happen to see them in this video. This is clearly, or not clearly, this is just something that I wanted to post because it is something to clear the waters. Anyways, enjoy. This video is going to be a pretty straight to the point, and I'm going to address a couple things I've seen about the game, and this will be my personal thoughts. So, what's up guys? Diamond here, or better known as AC in the Fix It Up community. If some of you may know, I am a moderator for the game, so my passion and love for this game has come a long way. Over the last couple of weeks, I have seen some things that players are posting that make both great points, but are also just kind of dumb. So I want to address them here and just talk about them. First things first, the game. People say that the game is dying, it's not. Now, before you say I'm coping or I'm just trying to cover my own ass, look at Fix It Up's player count. In the morning for me, and me personally, not saying that this is everyone, but whenever I get on in the morning, the player count for Fix It Up sits around 4.5k players average that are playing at that current moment. At night, it typically sits around 2.5k, maybe even 3 on a good day. This is due to regions and who plays around the world. The game is not dying. It's like trying to argue that Counterblocks is dying, meanwhile the player count has just always been low. To me personally, unless the game hits 100 players, the game is not dead. Just because it doesn't have 10,000 or 100,000 players doesn't mean a game is dead. It just has its own little based community, and people tend to stick around that. Not everybody's going to just constantly play the game. Another thing I want to address is the devs. As some have asked me before, do you have communication with the devs of the game? To answer that, no. The lower staff team and I do not have communication with Leo or Arnado. We have no idea when they will update the game again, nor do we know any set plans, features, or even new cars. The game has almost gone a month without an update. Meanwhile, the community is still going strong. If you want me to be honest, the game for a lot of the OGs, including myself, kind of find it boring, and that's okay. But it's only because we have played it for so long. You can't play the same game for years and just constantly do the same thing over and over again. That's what I did with Fortnite, and I'm trying to avoid that. It's to avoid the burnout. What I'm trying to say is the game may be lacking updates right now, but I talk to the community every day, and new players appear who want help and love the game consistently. The community loves the game, I love the game, we love the game. However, it's hard to milk the cow that has barely any milk left, if none at all, which is why I plan to move to games like Midnight Racing and Midnight Chasers, just to spice up my content, but I will not quit Fix It Up. It is our home. The third thing I want to address was Fix It Up made with ChatGPT. This right now is a huge kind of rumor that's going around. Not entirely sure, but to be honest, we don't know. There's no real proof of it. At this rate, all we have are messages, and personally, I will believe it when I see it. There's zero real proof that the game was made by AI. Now, I'm not saying they didn't use AI. They may have used it here and there, but man, we're at the day and age where it's becoming so normal that it's dumb we're even getting mad over it. Every new game that comes out on Roblox is made by AI. And yet we're going to hate on Fix It Up for using a little portion of it, if any at all. Meanwhile, you have games like Grow a Garden, Steal a Brain Rot, that are using constant AI to make their games. We are in a norm where everyone hates it, but we play the games that use it. To me, that feels hypocritical, and it's stupid. The game may have used, but it's not 100% confirmed. Hell, even I'll admit, as a game scripter in the past, where I did try to make a game, even I used ChatGPT just to refine scripts and make them more compact, just to organize stuff. So I'm not downing it, but I'm not just going to sit here and say the whole game is AI. That's dumb. Alright, so apparently Avon has dropped the fixitup files. This is apparently the files that are to expose the game and devs and community. So I guess let's go over this. So let's go ahead and go over this. So let's see. This Google document will contain evidence of free models, contributors admitting to using ChatGPT, confirming Leo also uses ChatGPT, staff members using Rule 13 for no reason and breaking their own server rules, and some sexual content that are apparently jokes in a PG-13 Discord server. I don't recommend looking at staff leaks or the freaky shit moderators have said because it's literally NSFW, so 18 plus. Alright then. And for those of you who do not know what using Rule 13 or what Rule 13 is, so those of you who don't know what Rule 13 is, it's right here. It says the staff team reserves the right to punish users for actions not listed above if they are harmful to the server. And it goes over the other server rules, which I'm not going to sit here and read. If you want to read them, you can pause the video and just read them, but they are right here on the screen. Anyways, let's get back into looking at these quote-unquote files. So the first thing that we see here, free models / imported cars. The photos of the car is the Mercedes C63 AMG or the Marquise Z73. Now, looking at this, I'm not sure what this game is, but it looks like it's a different game. And then we have a fix-it-up car right here, which is the same version, I just guess different. Now, from what I have heard is they apparently do port these from different games, but I'm not entirely sure what it is. Going over the next set of photos, I guess this is the same car, I guess? I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like he put down some captions to kind of explain what these are. Originally, me and some other people thought Fixitup uses free model cars from Roblox Studios Toolbox. They are instead stolen models from other games, and engines are also stolen from games like Assetto Corsa. If you have seen the Adrenaline video I made, it basically talks about how the game uses models from other games. Fixitup does the same thing, but they just make it look like shit. If Fixitup uses cars imported from other games, how is the C63 in Roblox Studios Toolbox? It's because other developers can also import cars from other car games. The devs of Fixitup do not only do this. Okay, so I guess let me just kind of go ahead and give my point of view on this. To me, I don't really care. Like, I'm gonna be so for real, it's a car game. If people want a Z73 in a game that was meant to be just a simulator, by all means, there you go, you have a Z73. I personally don't really care for the Z73, except for that one time that I made a video on it. But other than that, dude, it's sat in my garage, and honestly, I've been on the bench about selling it this entire time, just because I don't really care for it. The free models, honestly, dude, if they sat there and ported it over, I couldn't care less, because at the time, the game was still kind of fresh, and was still gaining the traction that it's still gaining today, but at a higher rate. I don't see any issues with it. I mean, they modeled it just fine. They did what they did. They remodeled it and scripted it into the game. I see no issues with this. At the end of the day, this is just a game. So apparently this one right here, we have a staff ego talking about someone else. So is there like a way I can zoom this in? I guess that's the best we can do here. But let's see here, it says Cabus. I don't know who this Cabus person is. And the owners of free models are also importing cars from other games. Okay, no, so this is going back on that free model stuff. Avon. Oh wait, so he's a thief? Cabus. I mean, Avon. I did hear the R34 was stolen. Cabus. A lot of devs importing stuff. Avon. And he shows like a comment or whatever, which I don't really care to read. Cabus. Leo. Don't know how to model. Avon. Fair. Cabus. Same with Arnado. Avon. Alright, I'll change that later. Cabus. Most of the engine models was imported from Assetto Corsa Or for example, again, I don't really care. I'm gonna be so honest. But now let's actually talk about the staff ego and slash talking about something else. So right here it shows a screenshot of Mackie. Let's see, Mackie, he responds to this guy named Gregory House. So let's see what Gregory says. He says, I don't know, driving Empire is pretty successful, and on the current track, the game is gonna be 0 players dead in 3 months, so make a choice. Mackie, comparing 2 completely different games, by the way. Avon, kind of feels like it's happening right now, no offense. Kitty, effort recently is missing, yeah, but it could be worse if sold to Voldex, to be honest. The player count might not diminish as much, but the gameplay will 100% become worse. And then Avon responds to Mackie, fix it up, it called themselves better than DE, by the way. Okay, so there's this thing where apparently Mackie, certified Discord moderator, you clearly don't know what you're talking about, because Fix It Up has stated on a TikTok that they are better than Midnight Chasers and Driving Empire and the top performing car games. If you want me to be so for real, it's top performing in its genre of car game, but it's definitely not better than Midnight Chasers or Driving Empire or whatever. Each car game has its own genre. Let me kind of give you an example. Fix It Up is kind of like a gacha simulator game where you fix your cars, resell them to people or the NPC, and gamble. Another game, Midnight Chasers, is purely based off of aesthetic. That game is just buy your car, kind of build it, not really, but kind of make it look all snazzy and stuff, and race around and do car meets and stuff. Meanwhile, Midnight Racing Tokyo is a pure soul, like, it's the pure enthusiast racing game out of the 3. Totally different genres, by the way. So I don't see how Fix It Up could be better than them, but I could also see how some games could be better as an overall. And then Kitty had admin, pretty cool. They're literally making a bunch of money from auctions. They can hire more devs, but you did say it isn't simple, but I'm pretty sure Discord DEV applications can help, or if they actually start looking for some instead of relying on ChatGPT. Okay, and the only thing he sits here and says, pretty sure Leo and Arnado are pretty young, to be honest. I'm not really sure how this screenshot relates to anything. And then we go into the ChatGPT coding or something. I don't know, but it looks like he puts right here some free models of the wheels, which honestly, dude, if they are free models for these, I could care less. I would love to see some of these rims actually get added in. So, I mean, hey, more power to them if they decide to add those. But here we go about the ChatGPT coding stuff. Alright, so let's see what he has to say. I actually need to take some water, dude. My throat's getting dry from all this yapping. Okay. It is also confirmed that developers on Fix It Up use artificial intelligence for scripting. A contributor that works on the game, and still does, currently has stated that Fix It Up is made in 90% of ChatGPT as well. Someone asked if it was scripts, and the contributor admitted yes to that. This contributor doesn't only use ChatGPT for coding, it's also Leo. Leo can apparently script according to the contributor, but they just use ChatGPT for faster work, quote unquote, which can explain why updates feel rushed and why they are always buggy. This shows they are lacking more effort for updating the game, and I guess it's safe to say that 90% of it is carried by ChatGPT, since the contributor said himself, you could say what if he's exaggerating or whatever, but I don't think he is. This is literally a person who works on the game. Messages were not from the official Fix It Up server, they were sent from an external server. Names will be censored to protect other people's identities. So I guess let's go ahead and look at this real quick before I fully give my thoughts on this. Cavis, we used ChatGPT. Anonymous, chat didn't do shit. Yee, I know. Cavis, it works perfect. Anonymous, it does, on God. I might switch too, I need to compare. Cavis, Fix It Up is in 90% of ChatGPT as well. Anonymous, just adding the old icon and say like enhance. Anonymous, scripts? Cavis, yee. Anonymous, skull emoji, yee, I knew it. And then I'm assuming this is in a gen chat or something? I don't know. Someone says this was me. Cavis, but Leo can script, but he's using it for faster work. Anonymous, but Cabus, you are pro, right? Like, Cabus, no. Anonymous, I mean, you can building like very fast, but Cabus, I'm using ChatGPT as well for faster work. Anonymous, I know. And then it cuts off, but Cabus says, since Leo told. So, what is my thoughts on this? Where's the actual proof? There's no actual proof of them using ChatGPT. Just because someone says that they use it doesn't mean it's actually being done. Granted, they may use it, but they may not also use it at the same time. And what I mean by that is they may sit there and it goes back to what I said earlier before these files dropped, is that they could probably use it to compact some stuff. And granted, it may make it buggy. Here's the thing, if you do not know how to script, then you should know that making a game is super difficult, especially learning Lua. Lua is the Roblox gaming code, or the actual scripting code that Roblox uses to make Roblox. However, it is a whole different aspect of how to code. So whenever you actually go to make something can mess up. You can make one line and it works perfectly fine. But then you make another line of code and it malfunctions everything. So making a game is a lot more difficult than just putting something in ChatGPT and hoping it works. Not everything's just going to be easy peasy. Granted, bugs happen, but there are games where they're not getting investigated for ChatGPT and they still have bugs. So what is I don't see where the proof is here. There is no ChatGPT. And then we go into more staff team ego. Let's see, it said, so it seems like for real. Leo, respectfully, shut the fuck up. Oh my god, give a good argument instead of saying can you do it yourself? Honestly, shameful, point out the things, it cuts off. Then Leo says, I did say more than do it yourself, motherfucker. Don't get on the other side, I am annoyed. Enough, brother. Know your position instead of defending the fucking game where you also put in much of a time. The fuck? And then Ghostboy says, you fund me a PC, then a 25k PC, you pay the fine for me not going to school, then which is another £600 and you watch and it cuts off. Leo, alright, so a PC doesn't cost 25k, so you're talking completely trash. You can do it after school and don't disrespect someone's work when you can't do it yourself. Programming, scripting, and designing takes its time, and when I would calculate what my time costs, you would be quiet. This is Leo, retired staff. Please stay retired because you clearly cannot take feedback, and like the contributor said, 9% of the coding is carried by ChatGPT, and the cars are literally free models. What effort is being put in, not claiming to be imported cars. By the way, Leo and Arnado can choose to hire more devs, but they choose not to stop glazing. That's literally their fault. It's the lamest excuse I have ever seen from someone on the staff team. Okay, now I will say this. There was obviously a better way Leo could have gone about responding to those people, but at the same time, it's lacking context. Where is the context in this argument? Because there's clearly more of a conversation that was going on, and I'm not seeing the context. So at this point, it's making Leo look bad. Meanwhile, there could have been some context that could have cleared up on his responses of why he was responding that way. So this honestly just feels like it was kind of just targeted, which is stupid. And then we have Banana. 24k Banana sits here and says to another Banana, not gonna lie, them fitments are 24k Banana, so make one yourself, homie. There is nothing wrong with that. I literally tell people that all the time. If you do not like the fitments that we make, then make your own. Not all of the fitments that we make are going to be perfect. People have always made their own. Hell, even I have made my own just because of the fact that I prefer a different style of making fitments. But let's see what Avon has to say. 24k Banana, moderator. I don't think this is a good way to take feedback. I think you should maybe consider making better fitments since you guys are pinning it in questions. No hate towards you guys, just saying not a good way to take feedback. Like I said, I have said stuff like this before to people. If you do not like the fitments that people make, then make your own. There are so many things that you can do in this game that people choose not to, and personally, I blame it on the laziness of anybody who doesn't want to sit there and do it. Let's see here. And then I'm assuming this goes back on free models. The free model inspired R8 performance has a value at, you can ask about a value discussion, 20, it's right there. Mackie, why you now typing with the free model inspired? Cut that shit out. Not against the rules, no. Mackie says I don't give a fuck, and I'll admit I'm on it. Honestly, I'm kind of on Mackie's side about this because this shit right here just seems annoying. If you're just gonna sit here and press about it, it's just there's just no point in sitting there doing that. And then I don't know what this is about. Mackie, what harm have I done so I can prevent it next time? Mackie says I can take it as a game diss. I'm not really sure what that means, but okay. This is kind of like a screenshot where I just don't really know what the hell's going on. Let's see, and then we have this based off of free models or something like that. And Alex says, well, I mean, Mackie, doesn't mean you got to be saying all that bullshit each time. Now don't it. Let's see, Mackie, certified Discord mod. Anyways, we are back onto the best mod ever, Mackie. Hi, Mackie. Since I'm an honest person, I want to say that you have a big fat ego. How is using facts a diss? Look at him saying, I don't give a fuck. Son, I'm crying. By the way, what's wrong about me saying inspired free modeled car? If it's not a diss, if it's facts, man. You should honestly be mad at whoever decided it was a good idea to add free models instead of being mad at people speaking facts. And honestly, this is kind of deserved. I'm just gonna say it because if you're gonna constantly sit here and just constantly berate the game and constantly talk trash about it in its community server, you're going to get timed out. Bro muted someone for saying quit the game, which isn't even against the rules, nor is it a threat. I thought threats were considered doxing, leaking, people threatening to do whatever, but here we are abusing the smallest shit ever. No, honestly, it's about sitting here and wanting to be annoying, and you're going to sit there and constantly say this stuff. It's more so considered a berate and a form of spam. But other than that, everything else in here seems to be a bunch of NSFW stuff. I'm not going to fully go into it, but if you want to check it out for yourself, feel free to go and look at these files. I will link this in the description. My personal take on all this, dude, it's just some stupid Roblox drama. It is just a game. At the end of the day, if you like the game, just play the game and have fun. Don't let somebody ruin a game for you just because they have a negative outlook on it. And if you enjoy the game, enjoy it. If you don't like the game, don't play it. Go play something else. At the end of the day, you can literally get off this computer and go outside. At the end of the day, you can play something else. But anyways, before I sit here and get way too flustered and upset, I'm gonna go to sleep. And remember, have fun, and do not harass anyone in this video. Ciao.